Okay, here's the deal. You just made a really cool Rust application which shows you the price of Bitcoin, right? So we have one job in this video. What we're going to do is we're going to add a graphical user interface to this application. It's going to be a simple Bitcoin price tracker. So you hit refresh and it'll show you the current price of Bitcoin. This application is going to be built using a framework called Slant UI. So we can go to the docs and go to the quick getting started guide to figure out how to do all this. We do this cargo install generate. So let's go here and let's do cargo install generate. I guess I should mention this too. If we go to, let's open this up. So here's the source code that we have to get the price of Bitcoin. We're using the CoinCap API to get the current price. What I like about this does not require any authentication. It's just a pretty much fire it and get the response. Super simple. Now let's go back to creating the GUI. So if we go back to here, let's copy and paste this command again. And I'm gonna go up and we're gonna call this, let's go one more directory. All right, and then it's gonna create this memory thing. I'm gonna rename it. Let's just call this BTC GUI. So let's go inside the BTC GUI and let's open this up. And this generates us a template project. So if we go inside the template project, we can see we have a couple of things. We have a main file, which does something with a counter. Then if we go to UI, we have an appropriate named UI file with this declarative UI. So we have a text and a button. Now, if we just let's do a cargo run. Let's do a cargo. Let's do a run on this and see what we get. So it's going to install some of the dependencies that we're going to need. Okay, nice. So when we run that sample project, and I just lost it. Wow. Where did it go? There we go. You know, I love just window management on Mac. So when we run a sample project, here's what we get. We get this counter 42 and a button, and that corresponds to what we're seeing in this UI interface. You know, we don't even have to dig through the docs so much to understand what's going on. I think if we just go to the main Rust file, we can see that there's this on increased value. We get the UI handle, and then we call the set counter with getting the current counter value and increasing it by 1. And if we go back to the Slint file right here, we can see that, oh, there's the counter and we're increasing it by 1. Okay, so I think now we get this live preview. If we do show preview, then somewhere we should get a preview. Ah, here we go. So this is the cool thing about using Slint with Visual Studio Code, is that we can actually make live changes without having to rerun the code every single time. Over here, I had the code here to get the price of Bitcoin. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy and paste this entire file, and I'm going to move it to, we're going to create a new source file. All right, so we have this crypto price. We're going to paste that source code in here. And you know, I'll have this over on GitHub. So you really want to go through what's happening here. You can see it. So once we got that, what we're going to do is we're going to take out this main function because we're not going to need it here, but I'm going to cut that. Boom, boom, boom. That's going to be gone. We're going to go to main RS. And what I'm going to just do is honestly, right in our on increased value, I'm going to go back to the Slint file, and it looks like that this request increased value is probably related to this on request increased value, and we call this set counter. So I'm just going to paste that code right here. Now it's going to complain for a second, so we can fix that. And then the UI set counter is probably going to be this price. So let's just take this out, and we can still print the price, but actually no, let's just not even print it. Let's just get the price right there. Okay, so let's fix a couple of things. So first, what we need to do is go back to the crypto price. We're making this this is going to kind of become a module now, so we're just going to make this public. So public function get Bitcoin price. Now let's go back to the main. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pretty much say mod crypto price, and from that we're going to say crypto price, boom boom, double colon, get Bitcoin price. All right, so now we're getting a Bitcoin price. We're unwrapping the value. That's why we have this whole match thing here. And if we got the price, we're saying here's the price. Let's convert it to a string. Now the problem is we're going to convert this to a string, but if we go back to the Slant UI, this is going to be integer. So this is probably not going to work. And we also got some import errors too. So let's do one thing at a time. I get super excited when I do this. Let's go first and let's fix our import errors. Cargo, and I'm just gonna put the imports we're gonna need. The request, Tokyo. This is for a serialization, deserialization, and this is for a decimal. So we have that in there. Let's go back to crypto price, and just for funsies, let's do a cargo build, and let's see if this works. This should work. We have our imports in there. We have all the stuff we need. Okay, so we got a warning, unused variable price. Let's go back to here. Okay, oh, yep, okay. So everything else built. So it's looking good so far. Let's actually just print out price. So we're gonna put price right there. Now it's gonna complain because it's gonna say, okay, we're passing in we found a string and it's expecting a integer. So if we go back here, this is probably pretty easy for us to fix. We can just call this a string. So here's a string. Now we get that, and we're going to say counter.price. Let's do better variable naming. So let's just call this BTC price. Or actually, no, let's just say price. I might make this not BTC in the future, but price. Boom, and this should say refresh. Not get that. Refresh. Okay, nice. There we go. So we get the Slint live preview. We get the refresh and counter. We're gonna call this BTC price. Okay, bring this back up. BTC price. Very nice. All right, so what we're gonna do is, I think at this point we should be good. We have the price, getting a price. Let's see, is it still complaining? Match. Let's see. I don't know if my editor is up to date. Let's just do cargo run. Okay, let's see. No method found set kind of. Oh, we did change this. So let's call this set price. Now we should be good. There we go. There we go. So cargo run. And what's happening? Oh, okay. So this is where we get to some of the Rust shenanigans. And I say shenanigans, but this is actually the good part of Rust. This is where we have all the memory safety and the ownership stuff. The TLDR is we have to do slint ... shared string from, and then we have to pretty much take this price and then do .clone. There we go. All right, so we're gonna clone that value just so now we can use it within the Slant UI. I know that's a really hand-wavy explanation for this. So once we have that, let's see if we can do a run real quickly. Let's see if this works. So if we do a cargo run. Oh, okay. It looks like it's running. Now if we do refresh. Oh, we are getting the price of Bitcoin, a current price. That is nice. Now this does not look great. This does not look, let me go up here. So this does not obviously look nice by any means. We can definitely make this look better. So what I want to do is I first want to, let's go and create a new folder. I'm going to call this icons, and we're going to put a Bitcoin icon in there. So let's go and let's try to find that. Here we go. Bitcoin logo conveniently in there. Boom. So we can do that. Planning this out before you build it is always a recommended thing to do. So just doing some type of, wireframe or graphics, whatever else like that. I'm just going to kind of wing this and just to see what we end up with. But yeah, let me just do that, and I'll come back to you. Okay, so I kind of went through, I played around with this, and here's what we have. So we're using vertical and horizontal layouts. For more description about what these things are, you can always go to Slint's documentation, go here and figure out like what these things mean. We have vertical layout, horizontal layout. We're gonna do an image, that's Bitcoin. Here's some text, BTC. We have the price, and then we have refresh. So I think this is pretty good. And then we gave the window a title. We're gonna call it Bitcoin price. Let's do Bitcoin price grabber. So let's just run this and make sure that everything still works. So if we do clear cargo run, here we go. Oh, now that looks good. Now that is much better than just a simple little CLI application. Let's just do refresh. Ah, beautiful. Look at this. So this is now us getting the price of Bitcoin. We have this nice GUI interface. We're pretty much almost done. The only last thing you got to do before you give this to your grandmom is you need to actually build a production target. So let's just do a cargo build dash dash, and we're going to do a release version, and let's just build a release version. Now, the nice thing about Slint, it is cross-platform, so we, in theory, could build this for Windows too, and maybe even an embedded device, which will be pretty cool to see if that'll work in the future. Okay, so it took 1 minute and we build. So now if we go to release, and there it is, BTC GUI. And now we have a nice GUI right there. So now if we're getting the price of Bitcoin, we don't need to like just run a CLI interface. We don't need to run just a command line. We have a GUI, which we can refresh to get the Bitcoin price. Now, I think if we want to distribute this, you know, being on Mac OS, we have to set this up in like the app structure. I might not do that in this video, but maybe on my website. If I figure this out, I'll probably post it on my website. But I think for now, this gives us a good start for just building a GUI interface for your Rust applications. I think it's definitely something to look into. There's a lot of different ways that you can build graphical user interface on top of Rust. This is not the only option, but I think this is pretty easy and straightforward, especially if you just need something with just like a button and a text field. This seems pretty easy enough. So guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more stuff like this, let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching and stay tuned for another galvanizing video. Thanks.